A very warm welcome to the spiritguides.co.uk network radio podcast, Dolores. It's great to have you on here. You are extremely well known. I know that you've written 15 books on many different subjects. Doing a workshop, or is it a talk, in London on the 31st of August to do with the dynamics of global transformation, and that's at the Waldorf Hilton Hotel in London. I know that there'll be quite a lot of listeners and visitors to our website that would really like to hear more about this, and hopefully they will pop along to see you if there's tickets still available for that. So just before we get into the show, just wondered if you wanted to go into sort of some of the things that you'll be covering at the talk in London.
Okay, I've just gotten back from a nationwide tour here in the United States, where we've traveled all over the United States the whole month of July, and we didn't even come home. We just went from city to city. And this was what we call the Awakening Tour. And the idea is, the people are awakening right now. They're beginning to know there's a lot more out there than they ever believed. And it's like the veil is beginning to thin. And you know what I mean by the veil. They're becoming more aware. And so I'll probably be continuing the same kind of a talk when I get to London, because this seems to be what people are more interested in.
Yeah.
That we are moving into a new dimension, a new frequency, what's called the new earth, and everything is changing. This is a very exciting time to be alive right now because of all the changes that are taking place and the way time is moving very quickly. And it's a time that's never happened in the history of the earth before. So it is wonderful that we are alive right now. So I'll probably be covering parts of that. But all of the information that I give in all of my books and in my lectures all comes from my work. I don't channel. I'm not a psychic. It's all from the investigative work that I've done in my hypnotherapy. I consider myself the reporter, the investigator, the researcher of lost knowledge. And that's what I've been doing for 35 years. So that's why I've written so many books. I keep accumulating more and more information. But it all comes from the clients, the people that come to see me. Do you want me to go into a little bit of background for what I do?
Yeah, I would like to, because I know that when you first started off, you were doing regression, probably in the normal sense of regression, trying to help people with past issues, and then even you touched upon sort of past life stuff, didn't you? And you even was a UFO researcher for a while, but then everything kind of switched over to the awakening. So if you could sort of talk around that would be great.
Okay, yeah, because I started in hypnosis over 40 years ago. When I began, there wasn't any New Age, people didn't know much about reincarnation, especially in this part of the world, in the Western part. And they didn't know what past life regressions were, none of that. So I guess you could say I was a pioneer. I began before anybody even understood any of this. So the first books that I wrote dealt with these things, and nobody understood them. I couldn't get it published because nobody knew what I was talking about. But it began with simple, ordinary hypnosis that I was using for habits, stop smoking and lose weight. And this was in the 60s, and all of a sudden it went into reincarnation and past life regression by accident, if anything ever is an accident anyway. It happened unexpectedly. And then I just went from there, and it's been over 30 years ago that I got into the past life regression totally. And I don't do the other kind of hypnosis anymore at all. So I was doing the past life regression, and this was taking people back into the other lifetimes to find the answers to the problems in this lifetime. And this was going along real well. That's how I wrote my first books, because they dealt with more or less with history. Because when I do my sessions, I work in the deepest possible level of trance. It's called the somnambulistic level. At that level, the conscious mind cannot interfere. It can't have any input in it. That's the part we don't want. The conscious mind is the stupidest part of the human being. So that's the part, it doesn't know anything, but it always tries to get in there. So in the lighter levels of trance that most of the other hypnotists use, the conscious mind is always in there trying to interfere and take over. So I found a method that we can remove the conscious mind, get to the part that knows everything and has all information, and that's the part I was working with. And this is my first books that I wrote dealt with the history, because when you're working at that very deep level, the person goes into a past life, they become the other person totally. And this life has no meaning. They don't even know anything about it. They don't remember it. It fades away, and they are that person in time. So to me, it's like time travel, going through time tunnels to actually be at that point in history. And then when the person wakes up, they don't remember anything, because at this depth that I work at, they have no memory. And they just think they've taken a nap. But this is where you can get all of the information. So a lot of my books did deal with history of people that were at these different time periods. And I did that for several years, and I was still seeing clients and doing the past life regression. Then it began to take another turn, and I guess it's been 20 years anyway, that now I'm working with a method that I have evolved that we can have instant healing. In addition to just going back to the past lives and getting the information of how it relates to them in this life, we can also have instant healing by doing this. And just one session, that's all it takes. Because, you make yourself sick. The body should never, ever have any problems. It should never have any aches, pains, or anything. The body should be in perfect health and harmony at all times, because the human body is a miraculous machine that has been created to take care of itself and heal itself if we don't interfere. So this is what I found. People make themselves sick. And if your mind is powerful enough to create something like that in your body, it's also powerful enough to take it away. But first we have to find out, why did this happen? Why did I do this to myself? And that's what I'm dealing with now. People come to my office here in this little town in Arkansas, in America. They come from all over the world to have these things done, because we have found how effective it is. And I'm teaching this method now all over the world. I just came from a class. I just got back last night. I've been giving at least 12 classes a year, and all over the world. I'll be doing one when I'm in England, too. This will follow the lecture that I'm going to give. I'll be doing a class in Oxfordshire. And I'm teaching everyone how to do this, because it's so important for people to know you don't need the doctors. You can heal yourself, because the mind is that powerful. We just find out what's causing it. It may be past lives, it may be this life, but whatever it is, we can find the answers.
Yeah, and I was reading something in one of your books today. I think it was the Convoluted Universe 3, and you hit upon the idea that we should be talking to the cells in our body as if we are the higher self of those little beings that are in our body that make us who we are.
Yes. That's what people don't understand. Within your body is an entire universe. It is what they don't understand. And if you can talk to the cells in your body, they're not used to it. If you talk to it about, oh, I love you, heart, you're doing a wonderful job, or I think, liver, you are doing a wonderful job, and all the complications you have to go through, I appreciate you. You speak to the cells in your body, and they really like this. Finally, somebody's paying attention to them, because everything is alive. So whenever you do that, you speak to the cells in your body and talk to it, and talk it back into health. That is one way you can do it. When you do that, you are the voice of God, because you are talking to your own body. And this is what they perceive you as the God of their universe. So there's so many things people can find if they just look into this. But in this method I use,